Well, good morning and welcome to a very flooded Warrington. So today I want to do something that I've not done for a very long time. 18 months to be more specific. What is this? Macro photography. Before I purchased my macro lens, I was umming and ahhing whether to actually buy one. And I thought, yeah, it will open up a whole new avenue of photography for me. And it just hasn't, because I don't really know what to do with it. As a landscape photographer, I love grand vistas. I love going to certain locations and shooting that and just getting the best of the light, getting the best of the environment, and yeah, really understanding location. Now with macro photography, I don't feel that I can do that. So I'm really on the hunt today to not only take some good macro images, get a good vlog out and sort of enjoy the day, but actually to understand whether I'm going to keep this lens or sell it. Personally, I think the negative about macro photography is just purely the limitations of what you can take. And I'm going to be brutally honest, and this is not to take away from any photographers that specialise in macro photography, but the only thing I can think of taking images of is flowers and insects. So the gear I've brought out with me today is the obviously the macro lens, which is the 105 2.1 whatever it is. Attached to the front of the Nikon D850 on a tripod, but I've also brought a Lume Cube light as well. And the reason for the additional light is we've got such a dull overcast day. There's pretty much no shadows at all, and there's no light that will make anything pop. So I thought I'll recreate that myself by bringing the Lume Cube. Now I'm fully aware we're in the middle of winter, today being the 1st of February, and there's not really a lot to photograph anyway, certainly on macro. I know it's all, well, it seems to be more developed around the spring and the summer and certainly the autumn. So I'm fairly limiting myself anyway with the conditions, and as you can probably tell, everything's a little bit grey, a little bit brown, and yeah, not really much to look at. But yeah, this is a challenge I've set myself, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get something. Never before have I given a small tree so much attention. I'm looking all over this tree now for small little details within the leaves, and actually they're really quite pretty, even though it's dead and you know we're in midwinter here. It's actually still got quite a lot going for it, so a little bit surprised with this. And is this the beauty of macro photography? Is it something that actually makes you look at things a little bit closer? Maybe. So I've already mentioned the gear that I've brought out today. In addition to that as well, I've also brought out the intervalometer as well, so the remote control for the camera attached to the receiver on the top of the camera, and I'm basically setting the shot up, having a look, just sort of seeing what I want to shoot, getting the Lume Cube in position, light in the area, having a look at on the back of the camera, on the live view on the back, and then once I've got it right, once the light's right, I can just sort of stand back and just take the shot. It's a little bit easier. So I'm just making way to the forest area. I say forest area, it's a bit of a small woodland, and the only problem with this area is it's right on the back of the M6, so yeah, the sound quality isn't going to be great. I've got somebody, sorry, a bit slippy, I've got somebody chopping trees down and obviously putting through a shredder behind me. I've got the M6 motorway in front of me. I think it's going to be a bit of a noisy day today, but yeah, we'll work around it. Right, onwards. So I'm really getting down and dirty with these shots. I'm actually getting on my hands and knees and sort of just trying to get the camera as low as I can to try and get some foliage detail, and just sort of work in this area. And this is one thing that it really does open my eyes with macro photography, is the amount of detail that's actually around. You've just got to get low, you've just got to get into it really, and I'm certainly doing that. So just constantly looking around, and I think with landscape photography we are too busy running around trying to get the perfect light, the perfect sunset, sunrise, that sort of thing, the full grand vistas, whereas macro photography, it really does just slow you down. And I think that's one thing I really need to do. This is where I fall down all the time, is I just don't slow myself down when I'm out shooting. I'm constantly looking for other shots. I'm constantly making sure that I've got the right composition for the right lighting, be it sunset or sunrise. And this takes away all of that, and really opens your eyes to something new, I suppose. So I think I've done everything I can from this location today. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit and it's starting to make things move in the image, which is making it a little bit more difficult to try and keep everything focused. So I'm going to go home, review the images and sort of ponder about today, whether it was worth coming out and whether I'm going to keep this macro lens. So press pause, grab yourself a coffee and I'll see you in a minute. Cheers. So macro photography, what are my thoughts on it? And did I enjoy the day? Like any type of photography, I love going out there and creating any type of image. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's portrait photography, motorsport photography, landscapes, or macro. The only issue I have with macro photography is I always feel it's quite limited. A majority of images that you see that are macro are either insects or flowers. But like everything, I was trying to look for something a little bit different. Now with macro photography, I really feel limited and I really wish I didn't. I wish I could go out there and actually create something a little bit different. But that said, I really enjoyed going out yesterday. I found it extremely fun and yeah, so interesting looking at something in a lot more detail than I normally would. Normally as a landscape photographer, I'd go out and look at the full grand vista and sort of work out compositions from there. When you're actually looking at things in a lot more detail, it really slows you down and it opens your eyes to a lot more things. As I said in the video, that's only the second time I've really used that lens, all within 18 months, and it's not enough. My initial thoughts when I saw it on the shelf and thought, I forgot I had a macro lens, was I need to sell this thing, I'm not using it. And that would be the easy option. But I actually thought to myself, certainly whilst I was walking around yesterday, I need to master this skill that is macro photography. Maybe master is a bit of an exaggeration, but certainly explore it a lot more and see what potential it has. So I think the decision is to keep the lens and use it a lot more. So I think the verdict is I'm going to keep that lens, use it, but not forget about it, actually keep it in my kit bag instead of it being sat at the shelf at home. I think playing around with the artificial light gave the images a little bit more depth than they normally would do. And that's something I'm going to continue to use as well. My first option was to use a flash gun, but I wanted to sort of work out on the back of the camera which way the light was working best. And I found that using the Lume Cube was probably the easiest way to sort of look at it at live view and understand what shadows I've got in the image and what part was going to be the brightest. Maybe going forward I will actually take the flash gun out with me as well. So there we go, the macro lens at the moment is safe. It's going to be kept in my camera bag and I'm going to take it out a lot more and actually utilise this lens to what I can get from it. So I think if you can take one thing away from this video is have a look at your camera gear. Have a look at something that you don't particularly use. Is it something you've particularly stayed away from? Or can you actually go out there and actually use that piece of kit? Now it could be anything from lenses to lights to whatever really. That's certainly myself and macro photography, but that's going to change. And I think that's my pledge for this year, is to do something a little bit different and sort of push, sort of challenge myself to get different types of images and explore all different types of photography. I challenge you to do the same. So if you like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. It'll be great to have you on board of the channel. And if you're into macro photography, don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know your process and your thoughts on macro and whether you've actually enjoyed this video. And even if you're not, let me know. Let me know the reasons why you've never actually ventured into macro. So from Warrington yesterday and today, it's time to finish this video here. Thank you so much for watching to the end. All the best, take care. Next video out very, very soon. Bye bye now.